Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Bokia Kimari. If this is your first time on my channel, please click the subscribe button, hit the bell also so you get notifications when I post new amazing content on my channel. In today's video, you guys, I'm going to show you how to make this lovely vegetable stew. It's actually kale stew because I'm using kale, but I'm going to call it vegetable stew because you can use whatever vegetable you like. Whatever is available to you, you can use and it will work perfectly. Let me run you through the ingredients I'm using. For this recipe, I'm using kale. I'm also using croaker fish. I'm going to do a pepper mix with tomatoes, paprika peppers, onions, and habaneros. For this pepper mix, my tomato is more than my paprika peppers, but I'll leave the measurements in the description box for you. I'm also using oil, vegetable oil, for frying the fish. This is not the amount of oil I'm going to use, so don't worry, I have my oil somewhere. But I wanted to show you that I'm using vegetable oil, but I'm going to use palm oil to make the stew. I'm also using crayfish, which I'm going to blend with my peppers because my meal broke the other day and I don't have a meal. For seasoning, I'm using stock cubes, I'm using salt, I'm using garlic powder, onion powder, and white pepper. This is mostly just to season the fish. The stew is only going to use stock cubes and salt, and that's it. I'm going to season my fish first. It doesn't need time to marinate or anything, but I'm just going to do the seasoning first so that it can sit while I'm blending my peppers. So I'm going to use half of one stock cube, some salt, the onion powder, the garlic powder, and the white pepper. And I'm just going to massage this, which is why I'm wearing a glove. I want all of the seasoning to like really get in because I'm going to fry this and the fish should be, properly seasoned. Feel free to use a lot more seasoning than this. Use whatever spices that you like or that you have. The key is to just fry properly seasoned fish that tastes good. Okay, so this is done. I'll set it aside and then I'll blend my peppers. I'm going to slice my kale now. I usually slice before I wash. I'm going to just get them into not too tiny bits. As you can tell, kale leaves are really wide and I don't know. Yeah, this one. It's really wide, so the cutting is a bit well, I'll just show you how I cut mine. And then I go over it again. And that's all. So I've got the rest of them. I know a lot of people like kale, so I wanted to use kale in this recipe so that you can see other things that you can make with kale. Besides a smoothie, I think a lot of people just tend to blend their kale into a smoothie, but you can make a fori roll, you can make this vegetable stew, you can make stir fries, all kinds of things with kale. I don't eat it a lot because I'm not a big fan. But when I do, I try to do different things with it. So even though I'm not a big fan, I still recognize the benefits of kale and they're amazing. So I still try to eat it. And it doesn't taste bad, to be honest. It's just that I'm used to other vegetables and I prefer other types of vegetables. So kale will not typically be my first choice. That's just all. Okay, so that's all my vegetable done. I'm going to cover this bowl in water so that all of the sand can sink to the bottom. I'll cover it in water for about 5 minutes and all of the sand will sink to the bottom, and then I'm going to wash it maybe 4 or 5 times to get rid of the dust and dirt. In this pan, I'm already heating some oil, so I'm going to fry my fish. One tip when you're frying fish, I've had this question time and time again about some people breaking up their fish when they're frying, or their fish breaking up when it's frying. They never get it right, blah, 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 blah. Make sure your oil is very hot before you put your fish in it. Not too hot that it starts to burn when the fish goes in, but just like really hot, not smoking, really hot. And once you put your fish in it, make sure you put it in the exact same place you want it to be, you know, leaving room for everything else. Because once your fish goes in, don't touch it. It's going to stick to the bottom a little, depending on the kind of pan that you're using. And it's only until it starts to cook and starts to proper fry before it lifts. So if you try to move it before it's properly cooked, then it's going to break. So put your fish in the pan and don't touch it. Leave it in the oil, let it cook, let it fry. Make sure your heat is right so that it doesn't burn and you're forced to start turning it before you actually need to turn it. Don't be tempted to touch it, to move it, to check on it. Time it if you can. If you're used to cooking, you would know roughly how long it takes. Or you can sort of look at it and tell that it's starting to cook and you need to flip it over to the other side. Does that make sense? You see how easy that was to flip over. Don't touch it, just leave it. Don't be tempted to move it before you actually need to. Perfect. Fish is now done. It's now time to make the vegetable stew. I'm going to put some palm oil in this pot. And when the palm oil is hot, I'm going to pour in my pepper mix. My pepper mix hasn't been cooked already. Because I'm a strong believer in one pot for everything. I don't want to do any extra dishes. I don't want to wash any extra pots. I don't want to get out any extra pots. So I didn't boil my blended peppers first because it doesn't really make a difference to me. It's all going to cook in the oil, so I don't see why I should cook it, you know, beforehand, unless I have the time. Maybe I was doing something else or whatever, but I wasn't, and so I'm just going to cook it in the oil. I think my oil is hot now. I already blended my crayfish with the peppers, so I'm going to add in stock cubes and salt. And I'll just let this cook over medium heat until it starts to dry up, until it starts to reduce and dry up. Before my sauce dries up completely, I'm going to add in my fish so that it can soak up some of that liquid. I'm going to take it out before I put in the kale so that when I stir it doesn't break. I'm going to take my fish out now and add the kale. I'm only adding a little bit of the kale. It's just a little vegetable in this stew. Now, kale is somewhat tough, so I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes or so. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add my fish back now. And let this cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. And this is my vegetable stew. Looks yum yum, you guys, and it smells divine. This would be perfect with boiled yam, boiled plantain, with rice, you know. Those types of foods. I'm going to serve mine now with boiled plantain because I like boiled plantain. Absolutely beautiful, you guys. If you didn't used to eat kale, maybe this will help you get started. This is like so yum. I have a thing for boiled plantain and vegetable. Actually, my mom has a thing for boiled plantain and vegetable. She loves it, and I think that's where I picked it up from. This is about to be really good, you guys. I'm not going to taste it because I can't eat right now until a bit later. So I know it tastes delicious because I made it before. I made it a couple of times before, and today I'm just sharing the recipe with you. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Easy peasy recipes, you guys, is what this channel is about. Just see how easy it was to make this vegetable stew or kale stew. Use whatever vegetables you have. Spinach will work, shoko will work, ugu will work, amaranth, and whatever you have available as a leafy vegetable will work for you. Just make sure that you don't cook it for too long so it retains its nutrients and does not lose its green color. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to do that before you leave. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you and bye-bye.